My name is Tashanna Bryan, and this is my oral presentation for the course Critical, Analytical, and Communication Skills for Managers at the University of the West Indies Open Campus. My topic is Corporate Culture is Sexist and Discriminating Against Women. The main points that I'll be covering in this presentation are 1. The gender wage pay gap still exists. 2. Women still face sexual harassment in the workplace. And 3. Overall, corporate culture is sexist and discriminating against women. Research shows that even though there's an increased presence of female employees in mid-management positions, males continue to dominate executive positions across the world. Women all over the world are underrepresented in areas such as governance, directorship, and executive leadership. Men holding the majority of managerial positions prevents women from gaining upward mobility through the company and lack of opportunities to advocate for themselves. In the corporate world, women are said to be sensitive and yielding, while men are the opposite. According to the American Associates of Women, women's representation in leadership will not increase substantially without major changes in culture, policies, and practices of the organizations where women work. Rhetorically speaking, why are women still being kept from their rightful place, despite the obvious revelation that more women are enrolled in and are attaining contemporary skills? Take, for example, in the United States, according to Menardu 2016, historically, laws were enacted to exclude women from particular occupations and limit the number of hours worked. This exclusion was justified by the ideology of separate spheres for women and men in which women were perceived as subordinates to men and confined to the domain of the domestic household. Can you imagine? After World War III, there was a shortage of labor. Gradually, the importance of participation of women in the workforce became evident and they were integrated into the economy, but they were paid less. The gender wage pay gap still exists. According to Stockdale and Nanner, 2012, the wage pay gap constantly reminds us of gender inequality and economic injustice for women throughout the world. Research shows that women have become more educated in recent years, earning majority of bachelor's, master's, and doctorate degrees. And yet, this increase in education still hasn't closed the gender pay gap. Scholars and policymakers have investigated the various causes of the gender earning gap. These include 1. Women hold a different, less valid skill set in comparison to men. 2. Women as a group are concentrated in lower paying occupation than men. And other attempts to explain why women are paid less include 1. Career choice. Women taking on more responsibilities and scaling back on worse tasks. And women are less likely than men to negotiate their salaries or raise. Women still face sexual harassment in the workplace. Many women report having to utilize sexual favors in order to move up in a company. Most of the time, women are afraid to report sexual harassment because of threats or fear of losing their job. Women faces sexual harassment, which includes both direct and indirect favors or advances, which creates a hostile work environment. Male co-workers or authority figures sometimes tell inappropriate jokes, make threats, and sometimes shows behaviors that intimidate female employees or affect their ability to work. These may include derogatory remarks on female workers, unpleasant compliments or body shaming, rape, or even attempt on rape. Why should it ever be an option that a woman can provide sexual favors in exchange for workplace benefits such as promotion, increase in pay, or protection? This should not be the case, but sadly it is the reality faced by many women in the workplace. Others may argue that corporate culture is not sexist, nor is it discriminating against women. Hartwich 2011 posits that Women make certain choices such as career selection and raising children. These selections tend to keep them from moving upward. For example, women need to take time off from work to tend to her family. Choices that men make and women make about human capital lead them to getting different salaries or management positions. It is also said that if women want managerial roles, they must work harder. The one who works the hardest gets the biggest paycheck. However, the American Associates of University Women states that discrimination against women in the workplace remains an issue, and companies sometimes still unguardedly state a gender preference for some positions. Women aspiring to achieve position of power must contend with negative stereotyping such as women have lower leadership ability, career commitment, and emotional stability. Today, many women continue to undergo unfair and unlawful discrimination in the workplace. Even though women have come a long way, they are still being discriminated against in the workplace. Women still earn less than men in typical jobs and get passed over for many promotions even when they have equal qualifications. Thank you for listening.